Today on the Trent Out Loud Podcast.
Y'all gotta relax online. I think it's either that you people are just not smart, or you're just bored and have nothing else to do and just need an excuse to like drag people online. Like, I just don't understand it. What up? It's your boy Trent Out Loud, and I'm back with another episode. All right, I got a good show set up for you guys today. I actually don't have any lead stories, so we're gonna jump right into quick news. I got a fun question of the day, and I actually have some Canadian sports news. We're gonna talk Vince Carter. Y'all know what time it is. Get your headphones on, get your earbuds in, turn your devices up. I'm about to start this show. Let's go. Candace Owens accepts Joe Budden's invitation to his show. This is really fun because anytime you mention Candace Owens in the Black community, it's always very volatile. As you can see from the clip that I just played, that I'm about to play, Joe Budden reluctantly says that he wants to invite Candace Owens on, and he actually reluctantly says that he likes her. Listen to this clip quickly.
I really do feel bad that one of my new favorite people is Candace Owens. Not politically. She is the funniest person on the planet. Candace Owens,
I'm on adoption.
If you're watching, which you're probably not, we got a seat for you up here. Any seat you want.
Ooh, Joe Budden, you better have meant it because I was watching and I'm going to take you up on your offer publicly. So now you can't do anything squirmish. You can't be like, oh, no, I'm not going to have you. I will definitively join your podcast and we can talk.
So for those of you who don't know, just give you a little bit of a back end, like Candace Owens, she's a commentator. She's a political commentator. She's definitely on the right side of things. She's a Donald Trump supporter, et cetera, et cetera. So people kind of like, and I think the most volatile thing that she's done actually has been when Kanye West wore White Lives Matter, and she joined him on stage. So all the backlash that he got for that, she got backlash. So a lot of people in Black media don't necessarily favor Candace Owens, let's put it that way. And I feel like what I've noticed is that not only do they not favor her, they don't like her, they actually don't even report on her. So this is why this story is really interesting. I'm not here to go on the right and left and to say if she's right or wrong. But what is interesting is that Joe Budden is the first podcaster or first person in quote unquote Black media that's actually giving Candace Owens a platform. And like I said, this is kind of gone like under the radar, more or less, where it's like, I don't think it was actually said out there that Black media is not going to pay attention to Candace Owens, but it's kind of been like an underwriting rule where it's like, you know, if you don't give her attention, then she doesn't get to kind of brainwash that side of the community and leave her over on her right-wing side. So nobody really in Black media actually pays too much attention to her. And when she says these volatile things, instead of highlighting it, they kind of just throw it to the wayside. So coming back to today now, where Joe Budden is like, man, I'm kind of reluctantly thinking that Candace Owens is, one of my favorite people out here. And then he says, not politically, because he just wants to reiterate to his Black audience, I don't stand with her politically. So anyways, it's a campaign year. It's 2024, a campaign year. So we're going to get these race-related, political-related things. But it's going to be very interesting to see if Candace Owens could weave her way into the Democratic, quote-unquote, Black urban demographic side of things and see how influential she could be. And, Joe Budden is, he's been around. Joe Budden has been pretty much a pioneer in the podcast world, like 9 or 10 years. And so I'm really interested to see, one, if he's going to actually put her on, or if people in the background are going to be like, don't put her on your platform. But I know why she wants to go on. She wants to be able to get some of the Black media and the Black audience. And let's see if Joe actually gives her that opportunity. I will definitely follow this story. 24-hour daycare. Okay, this is for my younger audience out there. There's a woman who put out a video that's going viral that she's dropping off her daughter at a 24-hour daycare, and people are going crazy because, like, why would you want to drop your kid at a 24-hour daycare? Also, too, let me play the clip and then I'll get back to you. Listen to this.
All right, so just a short video of me dropping my kid off at the 24-hour daycare at like 10 p.m. Like 20 other kids there, and they had like a glow-in-the-dark party. So it's a win for both of us. I get a break from her, and she actually enjoys going.
So part of the problem why she's going viral is that she could get when she said, I could get a break from her. You shouldn't really say that you want a break from your kid, but come on, like I don't have any kids, but I've heard my sister and I've heard my friends that have kids that saying, you just want a break from your kids sometimes. I know it doesn't read well, but I don't feel like she meant anything bad by it, right? We have all seen or heard of a mother and father, especially new parents, that they want to break from the kids. So A, I don't think that that's so bad to say. I can understand it, but I don't think it's so bad. And then B, I don't see anything wrong with a 24-hour daycare. I actually think it's kind of cool because, again, when they say daycare, the word daycare is during the day, right? But suppose what about the people that don't have their mother or father, their child's grandparent, or they don't have a support system and they don't have anywhere to drop off their child and they have to do something. So I think she's getting dragged online because it's like it's at night. So they're automatically thinking that she's probably maybe going to a party or going to a club, but how do you know what she's doing? How do you know that what it is just because it's at night? Maybe she works at night. Maybe something happened and she got an opportunity where she could take a shift at night and she's stuck and she doesn't, like, we don't know. And I think that's what's cool about this 24-hour daycare is that anything could pop up. Suppose maybe one of her friends are in the hospital. There's a million things that could have come up at night. And I think for people that have children and don't have a support system, I think 24-hour daycare could be really cool. You know, somebody that might have, let's say, like a babysitter, your babysitter's not available. I think the 24-hour daycare is probably for people who are under an emergency situation, and then you go bring your child to this 24-hour daycare. But of course, nobody's gonna think positive. They're only gonna think negative and think that this woman is dropping her kid off because she wants a break and she wants to go out and party or she wants to go out on a date. I think that's what people are automatically assuming. So look, my sister has 4 kids. I have friends that have kids. I know things come up. Luckily, my sister has me, she has my mom, she has my dad, and we have cousins, we have a big support system. But I also know people that do not have a support system and some people that don't have a lot of family around them. So I don't think that we should judge this person, and I think a 24-hour daycare is really, really cool. Kodak Black is caught throwing rocks at a photographer. I don't understand. Every time Kodak Black comes up in the news, did something negative. Like, I don't understand. Just a couple of days before he was getting released from jail, I wasn't going to report it because I don't know, maybe I should have, but I was just like, okay, there's probably something else going on. But now I got to talk about this because he's being released and he's coming out of jail, coming out of prison, and he's throwing rocks at supporters. Now, I understand that a lot of famous people and artists or whatever, they hate that the paparazzi are always around them. But this is a part of fame, Kodak, and you're always getting in and out of trouble. Like I said, every time I talk about Kodak, it's like he's going back in jail, or we all know that he has a substance abuse problem. And I always say, I blame not him only, but I blame the people around him. Like, he was like, why do you put him in these situations? Why don't you guard him? I mean, like, he's a multimillionaire. Like, I just feel like his manager or his record label, they shouldn't put Kodak in a position where he could be making mistakes like this. And Kodak Black is going to run out of opportunities and he's going to run out of chances. I don't know if it's lucky that he got out, but I know I won't get into his whole case with the possession, what they found on him, and he was able to get out because it's actually, he had a prescription for the drug, so he got let out. For those of you who don't know, Donald Trump pardoned him a couple of years ago. But it's just like every time we hear about Kodak Black, there's something happens and then, okay, his lawyer gets him out. Something happens, Donald Trump pardons him. There's going to come a time where Kodak Black runs out of opportunities and runs out of chances, and he's going to be in jail for 5-10 years, and he's going to have pen time, and we won't hear anything more about Kodak Black. Somebody in his camp needs to get a hold of some sort of security or some sort of mentorship or something and protect Kodak, because he clearly has issues and you cannot depend on him to make the proper judgments. That's all I got to say about Kodak. It's the same thing I always say when I talk about him.
Rapper Kodak Black has just bonded out of jail.
And he got aggressive with Local 10 News reporter Rosh Lowe. Rosh is live at the Broward Jail in Fort Lauderdale to show us what happened. Rosh.
Not only did he get aggressive with my photographer, Brian Murphy, but he actually started throwing rocks at this photographer. Don't throw anything at our camera. Don't throw it. And our camera.
Shout out to Northwest. Northwest is the youngest person to have to be charting on Billboard, Kanye West's daughter. Now, shout out to her. Yes. The question I have is, how come every time there's a child, one of these celebrity or rapper's child is on the charts or is on a song, it's like this person is the youngest. Just a couple of, I think it was just last year, Drake's son Adonis, youngest kid ever to be on Billboard. I remember when Blue Ivy was on Jay-Z's track, I think it was on 444, and she was, I think he put her on like crying in the delivery room. It was like, Blue Ivy, the youngest kid at 2 days old on Billboard. I just don't understand why every time there's a child on a record that they're the youngest person. Is there not some sort of record that we can hold that hold these people accountable? I did my research. You guys know I'm good on my research, and I couldn't find it of like who is the youngest person. From what I know of being in this music industry and always been watching it for all these years, the record is Blue Ivy. Jay-Z had her like crying on a track and he put her on the credits, and she was like 2 or 3 days old. So I don't understand how Northwest now is the youngest at 9 or 10 years old. And again, Drake's son was younger. So if anybody out there knows who is actually the youngest child and why every time there's one of these celebrity child, they're the new ones on the list, if anybody out there knows, please let me know. Jeezy performs on Tiny Desk. Okay, I love this Tiny Desk. Every time there's a cool Tiny Desk, I always got to report about it. The last one I talked about was Usher. So Jeezy was on Tiny Desk. I unfortunately can't play it for copyright issues. It's music. It's owned by the creator. I'm going to get flagged. But I would really advise you guys to jump on Tiny Desk and check out Jeezy. Of course, what's always cool about Tiny Desk is that you automatically think it's going to be, you know, a singer and there's going to be, you know, somebody like that plays instruments or whatever. But I love rappers when they go on because you hear the music differently because A, it's Tiny Desks, so they're not yelling and screaming and at the top of their lungs and like, you know, like being extra, how some rappers can be when they're performing. So I just love like the tiny kind of intimate setting that comes out in their music, and then you hear like the soft instruments behind. Anyways, it's really cool. We all know that Jeezy's going through his divorce and this mix up with Jeannie Ma and the child and not paternity, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh my God, child support and the divorce that he's going through. So it's nice to see Jeezy kind of smiling and happy. The past couple of months have been, you know, not really fun for him. So anyways, I want to shout out Jeezy, and the Tiny Desk is really good and let you guys know you should check it out. Bradley Cooper recalls beating Beyonce to picture A Star Is Born and walks in and Jay-Z is watching Judge Judy. Like, who has a story about going to Beyonce's house to picture something and Jay-Z is there chilling, like watching Judge Judy? I thought that was really funny. There's no actual story to it. There's nothing else behind it. I do have a little clip, actually. Take a listen.
And so then I went to Beyonce's house, and Jay-Z was watching Judge Judy. I still remember.
No.
Yeah, I'm not kidding.
Stop it.
And I was freaking.
Yeah, so like I said, there's nothing actually really to it. Just to know that Big Bad Jay-Z, during the days, he's sitting down watching Judge Judy. I just thought that was funny. I want to let you guys know. Killer Mike is back in the news. His trigger warning show that came out in 2019 is getting dragged online because of some of the comments that were made on the video. Watch the video and I'll explain it to you in 1 second. Take a listen.
What do you want to do, Ron?
A president, and I will make
You want to be a president. You owe your parents not to dream big. You know, you owe it to your parents to dream practical and start making money as soon as you can. Like, you're not going to be able to be president.
All right, so if you guys don't follow Killer Mike like how I do, Killer Mike just won his 3 Grammy Awards. I've talked about him on my podcast before. For you to hear Killer Mike saying you're never going to be president and to don't dream big, it's twofold. First of all, the show is called Trigger Warning. So he's obviously trying to trigger you. That's the whole point. It's satire. It's a joke. It's not real. But I actually did want to talk about it because what he's trying to do is to try to let you know that, yes, you should have your kids dream big, but also the point is to not only concentrate on that, because like Killer Mike always says, is that we don't only need rappers, basketball players, and presidents, we also need your kids to grow up and be carpenters, to be electricians, and to work in the everyday society. Not everybody can grow up to be a superstar. So that's the point of the segment of his show, Trigger Warning. But I think it lends to a bigger conversation of, like, especially now in this day and age, everybody wants to grow up to be an influencer. Everybody wants to grow up to be online. Everybody wants to grow up to do something else other than just the normal trade jobs. And I feel like there's going to be, well, I shouldn't say me, but Mike feels that there is a lack of people, or a generation that's lacking in just respecting the normal everyday working man. So for those of you online who's dragging Mike, saying like, why is he going and talking to kids saying you shouldn't dream big? Just want to put it out there that it's satire, it's a joke. He's obviously trying to trigger you, but he's trying to bring the broader conversation together of, parents, yes, we understand you love your kid and we understand that they're good in football, but sitting down with your kid and saying you're going to be the next Patrick Mahomes or the next Tom Brady, and gassing them up and only putting them in football and only thinking they're going to be athletes or actors or whatever and they're going to be multi-billionaires, putting that in your child's head repeatedly, and then they're growing up and they don't make it, and then they end up doing nothing. That's how they end up getting into a life of drugs or a life of crime, etc., etc. So it's more to have parents have a nice diversity. You could have your child in football, but also let them know that school, or actually going to a trade school, is equally as beneficial, and we're not all going to be multi-million-dollar athletes. That's the point of the show, and that's the point of the conversation. Bobbi Althoff is back in the news again, but this time she's not in the news for her podcast, or she's not in the news for having a really crazy interview with a rapper or celebrity. She's in the news because she had a quote-unquote leak. But she has come out to tell us that it's AI generated and it's not an actual leak. For those of you who are not on YouTube, like I always say, go to my YouTube page. I'm not going to put up the video, but I might put up kind of like a picture or something. I don't know what yet, because I don't want anything to take it down. And if you notice, I haven't even said the word, but you know what it is. If it's a leak and people are talking about it and it's only on Twitter, y'all know what I'm talking about out there. Anyway, she has come out and denied that these videos is not her, it's AI generated. I did see the video. It's clear, you could tell, like the girl's body who they used, the skin tone is totally different. Like, I have seen better AI videos than this. Like, I don't understand why this is going so viral. Like, it's clearly not her in the bed like that, in those compromising positions. You could tell it's AI generated and they just took her face. It actually looks like something like before AI. Like, that's how bad it is. So I don't understand why it went so viral, to the fact that she had to come back and say it wasn't her. I could have told you from jump that it wasn't her. But anyways, for those of you who have heard about the story, just to let you know, that is not a real video. It's not a real leak. It's AI generated. And like Charlemagne always says, this is what's going to happen in the future now. You're not going to know the difference between a real video or AI video. And I feel like we're actually going to see some real videos come out and people are going to say it's just AI. So it's like the lines of videos now are going to blur. I think the best course of action is that if it's not on that person's platform, or the person hasn't admitted to it, like, yes, that's my video, or like Drake 2 weeks ago when he didn't deny it, I think that's when we should believe it. So the rule of thumb should be, if it's not on their platform and they didn't come out and address it, then it's not a real video. Just to let you guys know.
I didn't realize that it was actually people believing that was me until my whole team called me and were like, is this real? It's like, you guys. Anyway, not me. Sorry to disappoint. That was so graphic too. I was like, oh my God.
Jaylen Brown has been called out for not helping his girlfriend walk over a patch of ice. I have a quick video. Take a look. when I see videos like this, I don't understand online. It's either like people are bored and have nothing to do, but how could you judge this man? It's literally a 2 or 3 second video where the girl is walking over ice. I understand that it looks bad, 100%, but how do you know that he does that all the time? Like, maybe he saw something, maybe he was looking like, I mean, I definitely help a girl at all times across a slippery, street or a sidewalk or whatever, but you're not gonna literally hold your girl's hand for every second, the minute she walks out or whatever, blah, blah, like, maybe it was captured and it was just those 2 seconds of time where we see this video and it's like, oh my gosh, he's not a gentleman. Oh, chivalry is dead. Men in 2024 only care about themselves, blah, blah. Now, this 2 second video, now the whole entire male population are the most horrible friggin' things people ever see in the world. Like, it is crazy to me. It's 2 seconds of Jaylen with his girl behind him, wearing high heels, walking on an icy road. I agree, it doesn't look great, but it's not like you watch a 5-minute video of him completely ignoring his girl and having her wipe out and he just keep on walking. It's literally 2 or 3 seconds. So I'm not gonna judge it and say that Jaylen is the worst person in the world because of a 2-second clip. Y'all gotta relax online. I think it's either that you people are just not smart, or you're just bored and have nothing else to do and just need an excuse to like drag people online. Like, I just don't understand it. It's 2 seconds. Give me a break. All right, and then our last piece of quick news, Michelle Obama's daughter, Malia, is dropping her last name. So she's no longer going by Malia Obama. She just wants to go by Aaliyah. And of course, again, I feel like today it's just like people dragging people online. I feel like that's everything I'm talking about. But yes, people are dragging this poor girl online saying, we all know that you're an Obama. Why are you going to drag her name? And I think it's clear that she just wants to drop her name so that she could be recognized as a person. That's what this is. It's a cry for help. Sorry, I shouldn't say it's a cry for help, but it's a cry of just saying, hey, I just want to be looked at as a director. Sorry, maybe I didn't tell you this. She's dropping her name. She was just in Sundance, and she's a director. She's a filmmaker, and she wants to now go by Malia. I'm sure she talked about it with her mom and dad and said, listen, I just wanted to take my name off, not because I don't like you guys, not because I don't respect what you did, but people are judging me for that. I understand people saying that we know that you're an Obama anyways, but not every single person on the planet knows. And not only that, but I think it's sending a message. It's not so much of like, forget that I am an Obama. It's more sending out of a message to, please don't judge me just because I'm my father's daughter, for negative or positive. Like, don't get on me just because you don't like my father, and don't love me just because you love my father. How about you just look at me as Malia and judge me as my own person? And that's all this is. I just don't understand why people can't see that.
Former first daughter, Malia Obama, recently made her directorial debut at the Sundance Film Festival, calling herself as the filmmaker Malia Ann. And apparently some folks online are criticizing her for it. If she knows she's an Obama, why do you care?
All right, this brings us to question of the day. Little Boosie jumped on his Instagram, like he normally does, and was like, yo, I don't understand why women use filters online. Take a listen to the clip.
Filters fuck women up, bro. Because they be looking like that on their Instagram. Then when you see them, you be like, damn.
So I 100% agree with Boosie. I don't understand why women do that. You already have makeup on, you already have lashes, you already have your hair done or whatever. And then on top of that, you're gonna put on a filter and not look like yourself. Like, I just don't understand why you would want to do that. And like Boosie said, you show up and you look nothing like you did on social media. So it's just gonna set off the meeting, whether you're meeting a guy or whether it's, I don't know, not necessarily for a job interview because that's not going to matter, but just anybody who sees you in social media and you show up looking like a complete other person, then that meeting is just going to be weird. It's happened to me before. And it just doesn't make sense because you're never going to not see that person. So if I meet you online and we're talking and I like you, Like, you think that I'm just going to overlook that once I show up and see you and you look completely nothing like you did? Like, I don't know. Is that the point of it? Where it's like, let me get my pictures or my videos, let me get the attention, let them liking my personality. And when they show up, then I don't look as good as I did, or not even as good. I just don't look like how I looked. And then hopefully now, but because we had such good conversation and we have a bond, or we've built a bond or built a connection, I'm going to look over that. No, that I'm going to feel like I've been lied to the whole time. So because you lied about that, I'm going to feel like our bond is not really real and you lied about everything. So right away, I'm just not trusting you. Even if I did like you, if I show up and you look nothing like your pictures, like I said, if it's a little light filter, if you have a little pimple, you're covering it up. But yo, some of these filters out here are really making people, like old people, look young, or completely different shades, or completely different eyes, or completely different bodies. And it's like, why would you want to morph yourself to look like a completely other person and then show up looking like the real you? Like, I just don't understand it in 2024, man. But I actually, you know me, I got comments. Let me go into the comment section and see what people are saying about this. Bobby Smith wrote, I've seen men and women use IG filters. Bottom line, stop meeting women online. Plenty walk around outside or rekindle relationship with one of your various baby mamas. Okay, that's just stupid. Karen Smith, that seems like a fake name, but anyways, Karen Smith wrote, I ain't even gonna lie, I had to stop using filters, especially the ones on Snapchat, years ago because I was damn near forgetting what I really look like in my pics. I was like, holy cow, they're going to see me in real life one day. I can't stop with this all the time, and now there's no surprises. I show up, accept me who I am. Exactly my point. Baby and Das 2 wrote, I don't use filters for this reason. People looking too smooth and then you show up looking brittly. Brad Withenstern 285 wrote, they lack confidence, but y'all love a low esteem chick. That's not true. Cookie Lynn wrote, I honestly not mad at this. I really don't like Boosie, but he has a point. Some of y'all have been overusing filters, and the ones who just changed the color of their pictures, not all. The ones who drastically change themselves to look like a different person and a different filter in every different video, you're just exposing yourself. And lastly, Vibes Luda wrote, I don't use filters for this very reason at Max. At Max, I'm gonna use a natural light filter to fix my lighting, but stuff that's gonna be changing like my eyes and bad blemishes, then nah, I'm not gonna do that at all. Anyway, so there you have it. I mean, y'all want to keep doing that. If that's gonna make you feel more confident, fine, but at some point you're gonna have to come out the house and meet somebody and you're gonna get called out. All right, this brings us to sports news. Vince Carter was on someone's podcast. Sorry, I don't know whose podcast he was on, but they asked him when he is inducted into the Hall of Fame, what jersey does he want it to be inducted with? And he said this.
Which jersey are you rocking Hall of Fame if you had to choose one? Both legendary stops.
Toronto. Toronto.
Yeah, shout out to Vince Carter for that, for selecting Toronto. I mean, I thought that was obvious anyways. That's where Vince Carter made his name. That's when he won in the slam dunk competition. That's the closest he's ever been in his career to the finals. I think it was the Eastern Conference Finals when Allen Iverson beat him in Toronto. We still feel like in Toronto, he should not have went up to get his graduation. We understand that he got his diploma that day, but it was literally just a graduation ceremony. We all know he did it for his mother, and we totally like it. We love all that school stuff. Salute. However, we think up here in Canada that it cost us a run going to the finals. However, we still love Vince Carter, and we're happy that he chose Toronto, his Toronto jersey. But again, for me, that's a no-brainer. Shout out to Vince Carter.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It's your boy, Trent Out Loud. For more content, you could subscribe, download, or listen to the Trent Out Loud podcast wherever you listen to your podcasts, or you could watch us on YouTube. Just search Trent Out Loud. For showtimes and updates, you could follow us on all social platforms at Trent Out Loud. Go to signupexpert.com/Trent. Once you sign up for all betting apps and get all your bonuses and get all your rewards, go to your app store and download BetStamp and use promo code TOL.